Steve, what is the bits of chips theme aiming to capture?
Our Bits of Chips theme plays into a number of different structural changes that are happening around the world of technology. When we think about some of the most exciting technological developments of the next 10 years, we're thinking about things like 5G networks, we're thinking about things like electric vehicles and autonomous driving, huge advances in cloud computing and AI, all sorts of big changes. And the question is, where is the investment opportunity within that? And one of the most exciting outputs of our research is that many of these tailwinds are ultimately enabled by a common set of components. And those components, in many cases, are parts of the semiconductor supply chain, but they may also be other forms of component. What that means is that we need to be quite specific. It means that we can't just go out and buy all semiconductor stocks. We want to own bits of chips, hence the name of the theme. But it does make us very, very excited because the companies that make these components could be beneficiaries from many of these structural drivers over the next decade.
How does Infineon fit into the bits of chips theme?
Well, Infineon is a really interesting example of a classic stock within bits of chips that plays into a number of secular tailwinds. Infineon produces power semiconductors. So these are the semis that can take the power coming out of a high voltage battery and reduce that voltage to the right level around various parts of, say, an electric vehicle, or indeed around parts of a factory or parts of a building. So it's a very, very important component. As an industry, it's a relatively oligopolistic industry. It's not easy to make these things. There's a lot of IP involved. That tends to give the company pricing power. And there's just a lot of demand. When we think about an electric vehicle, there's a greater degree of content that relates to semiconductors. And within that, some of those semiconductors are exactly the ones that Infineon makes. So there are many ways for this investment to win. And we think that it plays into a number of these structural drivers around technology, regulation, and sustainability.